Good morning, Mindful Reality family. It is my last day in New York before I go to Orlando. It is about, I think it's about 20 something degrees and feels like 19. To be honest with you though, because it's sunny and it's not windy. It's like a sunny day and it's not windy. It doesn't really feel super cold to me. It just feels like an average. It feels like an average winter day. I don't really feel strong effects. Like if it was windy, I think the wind would make me feel differently, but because there's not really any wind, I feel perfectly fine. But anyways, regardless, it is pretty cold and tomorrow really early in the morning at the crack of dawn, I'm going to be getting on a plane and heading myself over to Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a really short trip. I could have tried to stretch the trip and make it a longer trip, but the thing is, I just don't have the luxury of having all that time, especially because I used a decent amount of time on my birthday to take like a week, almost a week off of work, which I don't usually do. I still have time, technically. Like, I think all my total time available in my time off bank is probably about, let's see, sometimes 8 plus 8, 8, 20. I have about 11 days. I have about 11 days to use if I needed them, right? I have about 11 days. And I'm going to minus one of those days for this trip. So I'm going to have 10 days, and there's 20 days left in the month. Well, there's more than 20 days left in the month. But I guess I want to save some days for a rainy day. And then I was told that 70 days roll over. I mean, not 70 days. What am I talking? That would be crazy. 70 hours roll over, which is the equivalent of 10 days. So I definitely want to roll over as many hours as I can so that I start with the 10 days next year. Because that's the one thing about starting new companies is the fact that you start over with everything. You start over with your 401k if you have one. You start over with your colleagues. You all of a sudden new colleagues, right? New colleagues that you have to meet and get to know them and whatever. New clients. You have to learn new job responsibilities. But the worst part is the benefits and the probation period, where you go 90 days and you're supposed to act like nothing happens in life. No emergencies and no days off. And then if you take the days off, they're like unpaid days off. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, um, yeah. So I'm gonna be in Orlando. I haven't decided. This is my decision or dilemma about Orlando. I don't know. I don't want to call it a dilemma because it's not that serious. But my original reason for going to Orlando was because I wanted to attend the charity reality TV thing that they do every year. And that was my original reason for going. Then all of a sudden, Jordan from the challenge pops out and is just like, hey guys, if you like to compete, I have this competition that's going to be going down in Orlando and on the same weekend. So I asked y'all for donations. I got a few, which covered, maybe 25% or less. But nonetheless, that doesn't matter. That doesn't discount anyone who gave me a donation. I appreciate that. But I got my coins together. I paid for Champ Camp, which was a pretty penny. It's about, I want to say it was about like $165 on my ticket for that. And then obviously I had to do my plane ticket there and back in the hotel. I didn't get a car this time around. I hope I don't regret that, but I didn't get a car this time. All right, you're gone. You're begging for attention. And guess what? You got my attention because I blocked you and you won't be back here. Anyways, as I was saying, I didn't get a car this time, but I'll be there Saturday. But the actual event is on Sunday. So the thing about this whole thing, being there Saturday and the event being on Sunday, is that I still have a chance to catch one day of the other event. But then I would have to pay for the event. I'd have to pay to get to that event. And then I'd have to find a way to get there because I won't have a car. I mean, not find a way. Like, if I don't have a car, then essentially I'm just going on Uber. So the reason I'm a little bit leery of Uber when I'm out of town is because this one time when I went to Miami, I thought that I was saving all kinds of money. I was going to be saving all kinds of money by taking Uber versus getting myself a car, and the rates have gone up. I mean, from Orlando, cars are not really, I feel like cars are not really super expensive in Orlando, but the thing is, I remember spending so much money. I guess in Miami, the thing with the Miami trip though, that was just a faux pas on my part, right? Because in Miami, I got a hotel by the airport, and what was I there for? I was there for my friend's wedding. My friend had a destination wedding, but the wedding, I'm pretty sure, was in South Miami. So when they say South Beach or whatever, I'm sitting here, New York geography makes you not think about how things are anywhere else. Because if somebody tells me like, hey, I'm coming to New York City, I know that I can access them anywhere where they go. Not that I want to necessarily, but if they're like, I'm coming to visit you in Brooklyn, I'm coming to Manhattan, I'm coming to wherever, I know that I can get there. I could hop on a bus, a train, an Uber, or drive, whatever. I know that it's accessible to get to any corner of New York, right? When I went to Miami, the airport, good morning, Milfman. The airport is northern Miami. And I didn't think that made a difference, but the only thing that was in northern Miami was the actual wedding. So it was great when it came to the wedding because I barely had to go anywhere. The Uber was like 7 minutes away from my hotel. I mean, the wedding venue was like 7 minutes from my hotel. So quick Uber, 7 minutes away, Miami. I mean, the venue from the hotel. But then when the wedding was over, I wanted to go see what's happening in Miami, like what, the tourist attractions and the things that people go. South Beach, I wanted to see South Beach and everything like that. And then it's like, oh, South Beach is an hour Uber ride from my hotel. As you could imagine, any hour-long Uber ride is hell of expensive. So I think that because of that, I only went to South Beach once. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a one-day South Beach day. where I take this expensive ass Uber to South Beach, spend the day there, and then come back to my hotel, and then from there I'm not going back to southern Miami at all. But then, even just to get around, it was so hot outside. That's the other thing. I had actually Googled places that I could eat and places that I could chill, whatever, that were nearby where I was staying. And I remember the very first day that I was in Miami, the heat caught me off guard because there was like a chicken and waffles spot that I was going to go for breakfast. And I saw that it's a half a mile away from where I was staying. And I'm like, when you live in New York, you're just used to walking. Everybody walks here. Unless you have like a handicap or some specific reason that you can't walk, everybody walks here. Like everybody walks here, right? So I got outside. I'm thinking to myself, half a mile, like at the most, half a mile would take me 10 minutes if I was chilling over here. At the most, like a 10-minute, very slow walk, right? But probably more like 6, 7, 8 minutes in that range, right? So, yeah, like 6 to 8 minutes. So I got outside, and I remember I crossed the street from the hotel. I probably walked about 2/10 of that mile, like 0.2 miles out of that 0.5. And I was sweating profusely. And it's not like I was overdressed. I was dressed in a tank top and shorts, and I probably had on some flip-flops, thinking like half a mile is nothing. But in 100 and whatever degrees it was not nothing. So I remember just drenched in sweat. And then I remember stopping in at a McDonald's because that was the closest thing that I could go inside where it had air conditioning. And then I just asked them, I was like, can I just please get a huge cup of ice and a huge cup of water? I sat in that McDonald's drinking the water and like rubbing the ice on my face. I sat in there for like 20 minutes, deep breathing and trying to get my temperature back down and my anxiety down because I'm like, I'm so hot. And then once I was done, I was like, you know what? Okay, now I'm going to make a beeline to head right back to the hotel and call myself an Uber. So what I did was I went in, got back to the hotel, took a cold shower, and then I was like, I'm never walking anywhere here again, and I'm never gonna come to Miami without a car ever again in my life. But I guess that also depends on the time of year, the temperature part of it, because right now Orlando is going to be 75 tomorrow, 72 on Sunday. So those are temperatures that I'm not going to have to be worrying about roasting like that since we're in November. I can't be in a car for 1 hour because I got motion sickness. Wow. I can't stand when it's too hot, and I know Miami is super hot. It sure is. Carlos Vasquez, you are the next contestant on The Block is Right. Yeah, so I mean, I've been back there probably 2 times since then, and both times I got a car. One time I made the mistake of getting the car in Miami and staying in South Miami, which was super expensive to actually stay in Miami. Florida wasn't that hot in the 80s and early 90s. Which part of Florida? You live in Florida? Which part of Florida are you from? You don't have to say the city if you don't want, but at least like which geographical area. Oh, Fort Lauderdale. I was actually just about to say that the second time I went to Miami, I did Fort Lauderdale instead, which made so much more economical sense. Like to fly to Fort Lauderdale airport, to stay in Fort Lauderdale, to rent my car in Fort Lauderdale. My car was like, I want to say like $14, $15 a day, which is absurd compared to renting a car here in this area. Now I used to be able to get my rental cars like $30, $40 a day, but now they're post-pandemic. It's not like that. It's like 50 and up. 50 for an economy car. And upwards if you're getting anything else. And that's if you get it early. And definitely not if you get it from the airport. Random. I know that's random, but that's how I am. I hope this is not a troll message, but you'll see. We shall see. You brothers and sisters. Okay, that's fair. You can throw that in there, I guess, because I don't live there no more, but I visit. No, it's so hot. It's hard to breathe. Yeah, I know. I can't. I mean, I've never lived. The closest, the warmest place I've ever lived in my life is Georgia. I was like 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. And 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. But I didn't go there in the hot. I did go there for like 2 weeks. I went for a conference for 2 weeks in the hottest part of freaking August. That was really hard. But when I lived there, I moved over there like September, late September, I think. I think I moved over there like late September. So by the time I moved there and was living there, it was not anything crazy. It was like 80 sometimes, but it was probably like 85 and less. And then I lived there, and then I lived into the winter. And in the winter, it was kind of nice because it was like 75 degrees in December. I was used to having cold and snow, but it was also the first and only year, because I only lived there 1 year. It was the first and only year that I didn't have a white Christmas. I'm thinking, no, that was not Christmas. I was in North Carolina during the winter one time, but that was Thanksgiving. Not one time, actually, several times. I spent about 4, maybe 5 Thanksgivings in North Carolina. I am going to hop off this thing, but I'm going to pause the live. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to pause the live. Because I have to do something briefly, like very briefly, but I'm not stopping the live. I'll be back on live within the next couple of minutes. Not vacation. I mean, yes, I guess you could call it a vacation, but it's only going to be 2 days. I'm mainly just going to compete in this challenge event, Champ Camp, and then I'm coming back the next day. So you could call it a vacation, because I will touch foot in Orlando for, 48 hours. Then I'll be back. But I consider a vacation probably if I was going for 4 or 5 days or more, personally. Oh, I just said I'm back. Headed to work, and then from there, jumping off, and then I probably won't be back on. I'll try to go live a couple of times. This weekend cannot necessarily be that big of a content weekend. I know that when I go places, I usually try to do a decent amount of content, but I just won't be there that long. So I'll do a little bit of content. But my main focus is trying to do the best that I can in this competition. If anything, I'm definitely going to have content. I'm going to be going live and stuff and having content from the competition for sure. So, but aside from that, hold on, BRB. Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of challenge stars, a few Big Brother people. I think Kyland is going to be there. I think Tiffany is going to be there. Nerese, if you know who Nerese is. Cara Maria is going to be there. Polly is going to be there. What's his name? Jordan, obviously. And who knows, there might be some surprise guests since they're all going to be in Orlando anyway. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to do my best. But thanks for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you all. Enjoy your day.